This video covers two challenging questions for algebraic fractions and gives you some tips in terms of how to solve these types of questions. So the first question here, you're given two unit fractions, unit algebraic fractions. The expressions are at the bottom there, both quadratics. And it's asking you to give them in a form that looks like this. We have a multiplied by, so that's a number multiplied by b, all over this expression here. A, B, C, D, and E are integers, which means they are whole numbers. They can be positive or they can be negative, but they are whole numbers. So let's have a look at this question and see if we can get to an answer that looks something in this format. Now, just to start by, we're going to look at these questions and go, okay, both these expressions here are quadratics. They're fairly simple ones to factorize, so I should be able to do that bit, hopefully, and get the first couple of marks on this question. So looking at the very first one, it's a unit fraction, so I'll leave the one up the top. I have x squared minus x minus 2. So if this symbol is negative, that means both signs will be different in my factorization. So I'm going to have x for the first term. One is going to be positive, one is going to be negative. And I've got to end up with negative 2 here and negative 1 here. So the only options I have are 2 and 1. And if I put 2 here and 1 here, then I will end up getting, I will get minus 2x plus 1x, which is the minus x. So this is the correct factorization. Looking at the second one, again, another unit fraction. And looking at this one, I have that sign is positive. So therefore, both symbols will be the same, and they will both be this. So I know that both my terms here will be x minus and x minus. Just extend that. I want two numbers to multiply to make 12 and add to make minus 8. Obviously, I've got 6 and 2, 4 and 3, and 12 and 1. Normally, I would start with the ones that are closest together because most questions work that way. But a quick inspection tells me this has got to be 6 and 2. So minus 2 minus 6. If you did put the wrong numbers in, always expand this bit and see whether it takes you back to here. So we have minus 6x minus 2x, which is minus 8. And minus 2 times minus 6 is plus 12. So this is the correct factorization. Now, looking at the denominators here, I have this term here is common in both. So I don't need to worry about this one. This one's got an x plus 1 and this has got an x minus 6. So I'm going to use that information to actually come up with my common denominator. So my common denominator here will be x plus 1, x minus 2. So that's the two factors of the first fraction, and x minus 6, because that gives me the two factors of the second fraction. These two are shown here, and these two are shown here. Now, that means then, for the common, make this denominator this, I multiply by the missing term, which is x minus 6. So if I multiply the bottom by x minus 6, I multiply the top by x minus 6, giving me just x minus 6. Keep that in a bracket. Minus sign, keep that there. And the same system for working out what goes here. I need to get this denominator the same as here. The thing I've multiplied by is x plus 1. So I multiply this by x plus 1. So I just get minus x plus 1. Put it in a bracket because the whole thing is subtracted. Now I can tidy up the top here and I'll leave the bottom alone. So let's just write the bottom in first because that is not going to change. That's already, if you look at it, quick inspection of the question, that is already in the format that I want. X plus something, x plus something, x plus something. So let's just tidy up the top. And what have I got here? I've got x minus 6, and then I have this minus the bracket. So it's minus x and then minus 1. And let's tidy that up. And what do I have? I have at the top there, x minus x is nothing. They will cancel. Minus 1 minus 6 is minus 7. And the denominator will just be the same. X plus 1, x minus 2, x minus 6. Now, comparing this to the form they want in the question, they want something multiplied by something over this weird thing here. We have the weird thing, and we have these, basically, we've got minus 7 over here. So you could say b is minus 7 and a is 1. I think that should be the correct answer. The mark scheme actually presents it as this, so bear this one in mind. What they're doing here is they're bringing minus 1 outside. So they're multiplying the whole thing by minus 1 just to make your numerator positive. I think that's a bit strange to myself, but if that's what they want, it's probably worth doing that. If you've got this in an exam, what I would say is you lose nothing by writing this one. If this was the correct answer, they would ignore subsequent working, so you would get the full marks here. So little neat trick, if there is negative and you have this one outside, put the minus 1 just in case. That gives us a figure out here, figure on there. So that's A, B, C, D minus 2, and E minus 6. Now on to this question, which I think is a really beautiful piece of work in terms of algebraic fractions, if there can be such a thing. There's a lot going on here, a lot to unpack. We've got a division, we've got 3 quadratics, and we've got 2 other expressions which are the same, and we have a negative here, and they've told us the form they want the answer in. So when I'm going through this, listen to the method that I'm using. I'm going to try and talk you through what I see while I'm answering the question. And these are the sort of things you want to ask yourself, and these are the sort of things you want to look out for. So initially when I look at this question, I go, well, that's the difference of 2 squares, x squared minus 4. I know that's the difference of 2 squares. And I know this is also the difference of 2 squares, x squared minus 9. You want to spot these. Normally we don't get 2 of them, but here we do. You want to really spot that these things exist because they're easy to factorize. Also, I have a division here, and you know how to divide fractions. It's keep, change, flip. You keep the first fraction, you change the symbol to multiplication, and you flip the second fraction. Also notice that this here is outside. It's all of this, subtract this. Remember the rules of order of operations. We will do the division before the subtraction. So we're going to mess around with this first, then we'll deal with this. Within these two, I'm going to get rid of this division by making it a multiplication first. That's going to be my first point to start with. So I'm going to do x squared minus 4. I'm going to leave this first one alone. X squared minus 5x. Now you might want to do some of this quicker, but I'm going to go through every step. Change the symbol to multiply. Turn the fraction upside down. X squared minus 9 over 2x plus 3. I'm not going to bother writing the minus 2x plus 3 because I'm just going to deal with that separately. Now, I had difference of 2 squares. I'm going to just factorize that. So I've got x plus 2, x minus 2. Remember that x squared minus 4 is equal to x squared minus 2 squared. And that's multiplied by the same here. We've got x squared minus 9, so that's going to be x plus 3 and x minus 9. And then that is all over. I'm going to leave the bottoms alone for this. So x squared minus 5x plus 6 and 2x plus 3. I'm not combining the fractions. I'm not doing anything else. I'm just going to rewrite it like that. Now I need to factorize the bottoms. And this actually factorizes quite nicely, but there's a little tip you can use to try and do this. So let's just write down everything else on here. Sorry, that should be a 3. Should have spotted that. Always double check your work when you're going through. I'm going to leave this one alone, but I'm going to put this inside a bracket because it's a thing on its own. So now I'm faced with factorizing this, which isn't too difficult. I know that the first terms will be x because x times x is x squared. I also know by inspection that this is positive, both signs will be whatever this is, and then negative. That's negative. So it's x minus x minus. Now, this is a maths question. It's in an exam. So clearly with an algebraic fraction, things are going to cancel, which means that one of the factors here will be one of the factors here, so it can cancel. Now, if I look at it, these signs are telling me one of these factors, both these factors are negative. I have a negative term here, so this is the one that I'm going to use. It won't be the plus 3, it's going to be the minus 3. So if I put minus 3 there, I want to end up with plus 6. So that's going to be minus 2. The other beautiful thing is when I've done that, I go, oh, hang on a minute, of course it's going to be minus 2 because that's one of the factors up here. So things are going to cancel. Now I can cancel them by crossing them out, which is what I will do, just to make it a little bit clearer. So I've already seen that this one cancels this one, and this one cancels this one. Why can I do that? Because the whole thing's multiplied. So in a way, it's just all over one line here, and we already have a common denominator of these. Now that tidies up this entire thing so much easier, because what that leaves me with now is just x plus 2, x plus 3, all over 2x plus 3. So that's the first part of the question. Okay, so I'm just going to take this expression here, which is the two fractions on the left-hand side. I'm going to put it up to here, and then I'm going to slip in the bit that was missing, which is the minus 2x plus 3. Now here's a note. If you've seen this question before, I got this one from Dr. Frost, and actually there's a mistake in the question, because when it's presented to you, if you read it carefully, what you've got here is you've got two fractions, taking away 2x, adding 3. Now, looking at the question, having also seen the mark scheme, what's missing, what should have been presented on here, is a pair of brackets there. Because the important thing with this question is that this will be the same as this. And you'll see why in a minute when I start working it through. So if you had done this question before and not got the right answer, and got really lost with the minus 2x and then adding 3, that will be why. It should have been inside brackets, and I'll show you why. So we have the expression now on the right-hand side. I simplify by fraction, and I'm taking away this thing here. So now I need common denominators again. So this time, my common denominator is going to be 2x plus 3. Now the left-hand side just stays alone, because that's clearly was already over 2x plus 3. And to turn the one on the right over 2x plus 3, I multiply top and bottom by 2x plus 3, which means on the top now I have 2x plus 3 squared. Just to cover that again, if you think about it, if I got 2x plus 3, and I multiply the top by 2x plus 3, and the bottom by 2x plus 3, then I've got 2x plus 3 squared, which is this one, and then 2x plus 3 is the denominator, which is my common denominator here. So I'm getting into the form of the answer that I want. The denominator is perfectly fine here. Looks the same as this. Now I just need to tidy up the top. So that's going to be a bit of expanding and then simplifying. So let's put the denominator in, because that's not going to change. To the numerator, let's expand out everything. So I've got x squared plus 3x plus 2x plus 6 minus, I'm going to use a square bracket here because it's taking away the whole of the expression 2x plus 3 squared. So let's expand that out. And I've got 2x times 2x is 4x squared. Then I've got plus 6x plus another 6x from the 2x times 3. That happens twice. And then plus 9, which is 3 times 3. So draw this in, keep the common denominator. That's not going to move. And then we've got x squared plus 5x plus 6. Now the minus sign is important. That's why I got the square bracket. So it's minus 4x squared minus, so I've got 6x and 6x is 12x, so I'm taking away 12x, and then minus 9. So hopefully this will be the final step. I've got 2x plus 3, and then I've got, I'm going to cross these out as I go. I've got 4x squared x squared minus 4x squared. Well, that's going to give me minus 3x squared. Then I've got 5x minus 12x, so that's going to be minus 7x. And then I've got 6 minus 9, which is minus 3. I've crossed them out, but I can still clearly see what I've done, which is good for the examiner to see what my process was. And do I actually have this in the form of the answer? A would be minus 3, B would be minus 7, C would be minus 3. D would be 2, and E would be 3. Sometimes with questions like this, if this is negative, 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 then you would factorize by taking minus 1 out, which is kind of like the previous question. So if ever there was a question when you would have something here, as in a negative, it would be this answer rather than the previous one. Hopefully those things made sense. Just remember, whenever you're simplifying algebraic fractions, things will cancel. So factors on the top will match up with some factors on the bottom, and so on. So what you want to make sure you do is get rid of the division by turning it upside down and making it into a multiplication. Factorize the easy things first. Difference of 2 squares, always spot that. That's the quickest one to do. And then look and go, something in a factor here will be on the bottom. And generally, something over here is down here, and something over here is down here. As it was here and here as well. So look out for that when you're doing them, and good luck with the questions.